Do they still have mafia activity in the Bronx?
Absolutely. That's probably, I would say that's the strongest mafia hold is the Bronx.
Still.
I'm the only guy of substance, high-ranking member of organized crime from the Bronx that cooperated.
Right. So you still got guys on the street?
You have a lot. The Bronx is, listen, yes, mafia from the Bronx get arrested.
Yeah.
But nobody cooperates.
Not big cases though, not big indictments.
No, they're not. Listen, they got away from killing people because
finally,
right?
Jesus.
Because if they get caught with gambling, loan sharking, extortion, it's 5 years, 10 years tops.
Right.
And
So who would you say today? Because it sounds like you still have your ear to the street, even though you're down there in Florida, all rich and kicked back. Who would you say is the strongest family right now in New York?
Oh, Genovese, by far. By far. They still have the old timers there. Their administration. They have Barney Belomo as the boss. He's not the boss. They put shield after shield after shield up to protect their inner circle. He's up there. Wow. He's in the ranks. He's probably the underboss or acting boss. Right. He's up there. He's not the true boss.
Wow. They're that insulated.
They protect each other.
So it's essentially calling Barney the boss is misinformation.
Without a doubt, 1,000%. But, you got guys like, I think O.C. Shorts wants to go on and think he knows everything about the mafia. And I corrected people, but let them say what they want to say. Eventually, I'll tell who it is. But
wow. You can't say it here?
No, you could read between the lines with the other podcasts we did, but
okay.
I just have a loyalty to the guy. I love him.
Yeah. Yeah. Ernie, your mentor,
yes,
passed away. No, he's still alive. I know I asked you. Okay. You already said that 3
Quiet
times.
Dom was the other guy who I really cared for. That's why I wrote the book with him, in memory of him.
Right.
He was a powerhouse.
Now, can we call him the boss back in the day?
Back in the day, he was an acting boss.
So he was the boss above Ernie.
He was an acting boss. Wow. Yes, he was.
Wow.
Yes, he was. Quiet. That's where listen, I'll tell you what a man he is. The guys were paying $250,000 to get him a lawyer while he was fighting his case back in 2005. Told the guys, keep the money. He went with a public defender. Because he knew he was only getting 2 to 3 years.
Wow.
Why am I going to have you guys waste that money?
Of course.
And he's the one that said, Dom, it's a disgrace what they did to you out there. I'm not going to go into details with it, but the newspapers had me killing his son. So when the government put me in the same unit as him, they cleared all the Italians out of the unit, only left him and I in there. Thinking, okay, there's going to be a big blowout here because they had me prime suspect killing his son. And after a few months, they're like, I'll be a son of a...
Wow.
Like we were inseparable, him and I.
So you guys did time together?
Yeah, we were in MDC Brooklyn. No, he didn't cooperate.
Oh, okay.
Before I cooperated, we were there a year together, him and I.
What was tell us about his son getting murdered. What was that about?
I had an altercation with his son. His son came to my real estate office demanding money. And I told him to lower his voice. We were outside.
Why was he demanding money?
The real estate office was a new office. One of the guys who were in there who helped renovate the office was owed about $1,800 left. They had a punch list. Anybody in construction knows a punch list is they have to come back and repair certain things that weren't fixed. So I told him, I says, Nicholas, have your guys come back, your friend, finish the punch list, and I'll give the $1,800. It's no big deal. And he was just adamant, being belligerent. And I told him, lower your voice. We were outside. I'm not going to lower my effing voice. And I cracked him. I hit him with open hand smack. He went running to his car. Get the gun. Told the guy in the car. So I went running after him. So by the time he opened up the car, I was on top of him. So I'm hitting him, slamming the car door on his legs. Finally, the guy in the car says, Dom, there is no gun in the car. They get in the car, they leave. Within about a half hour, they're calling for me. We have a sit down. During the sit down, I'm like, I have no problem with him.
Yeah.
It's Dom's son, this and that.
Yeah.
Well, and like I said, I'm not going to go into details of it, but I'll go this far. 2 weeks later, it's in the newspapers that basically I killed his son, or Bonanno Genovese war. We killed his son.
Okay, so how did his son end up getting
never
killed?
found him.
They never found his body. He disappeared.
No.
Wow.
That'll be on your next show.
Okay. I get the feeling you didn't do it.
And so that'll be on your next show.
Wow.
To,
so it disappeared. So
the government had me as the prime suspect. So they figured when I got arrested, Dom was already arrested. Mm-hmm. So they put us in they cleared out the Italians in the unit. They left him and they put me there thinking, okay, watch this.
Right.
But little did they know we already spoke. We knew each other.
And so, I mean, old Dom is a sharp guy.
Very sharp.
He knew that you didn't do it, or else he would have had you touch, probably.
Very sharp.
So is he alive today?
He just passed away.
Okay. So he really passed away. That's a guy who was really successful in life. He only did a couple of years.
He loved his Glen fetish. Actually, I was just in Switzerland. So I was in one of the mountains. So we went through the ice caverns, and they had 3 big barrels of Scotch, single malt, behind the glass. So I'm over there. So I'm filming something live for Mafia Roundtable. And I said, this is in dedication to Dominic Quiet Dom Cirillo. May you rest in peace. I'm here with your Scotch, because he loved his single malt.
Wow.
And my wife, when she heard the end of it, she's like, wow, that was really touching. It was really good.
Nice.
So,
yeah. So you have all these memories, and you made some real friends in there while you were in the life. Where does the mob, how do they operate now? Are there any social clubs left, like in Throg's Next?
Oh, I'm sure there is. Yes. They have
They still have social clubs.
Of course. They need a place to gather, to hang out, to play cards.
Right. I figured they would just go to somebody's house to do that, because they're trying to stay low key.
No.
They still have.
Social clubs, you know what? The only dangerous thing about a social club is when people start talking about illegal activities.
Yeah.
But when you're there hanging out, if you're watching a football game, baseball game, you're playing cards, or they cook, where everybody comes and eats, and you're just talking about BS stuff.
Yeah.
They're okay. But listen, true attrition, like John Gotti with his big mouth at the Raven night, going upstairs talking about homicides.
Yeah.
It's people's big mouths that get them jammed up.
Yeah.
It's not them getting caught. Because think about it. How many people that actually got caught committing the murders?
Right. Yeah, the mob's good about that. They don't really get caught
at the actual hit.
Yeah.
It's after the fact, somebody's big mouth. Like Vinny. With the 2 homicides I was involved with Vinny, if he never tells Joe Massino, he told Joe Massino about both of them. If he kept his mouth shut, they never arrest us. They don't know.
Right.
Actually, on both homicides, the Genovese crime family got the weight in the newspaper.
Oh, wow. Wow.
So we weren't even a suspect on either one of them.
Right. Yeah. No, I mean, that's the story for most of the mob history, is just people running their mouths.
It's ridiculous. It's disgusting. It really is.
Do you think the mob is the strongest the mob? Do you think the Italians are the strongest crime families in New York still, or do you think that the Albanians?
Not anymore.
Who do you think is the strongest ethnicity?
I would say the Bloods, Crips. They have the numbers.
Yeah.
But they're not as organized.
No, they're not.
The street, but you know what? They're still dangerous out there. But if you say it, I would say then the Albanians.
Yeah.
But even so, then they're outnumbered with the mafia.
Yeah.
You still have the 5 families.
So are there still legacy people like sons of made guys or knockaround guys, whoever they are, whatever rank they have, that are joining the mob? Like, say if you had sons, would they, and you were still an active guy in New York, do they join, or is it like, are all the American mafia people trying to get their kids to go legit?
That's a good question. You have this day and age, I would say they would probably push them to be legit.
Yeah.
But then again, you have buffoons in the life that want their sons,
Yeah.
you know.